Hello friends, and welcome to this crochet tutorial where I'm going to show you how to make our potato monster kitty. Yeah, it's not in our potato color. I thought I'd try something a little different just to make sure it works just right. So we're going to have a cute little nose. We have our arms, our ears, and our little potato topper here with a bow in the front. We also have a nice little tail. So come join me and let's make this kitty looking potato monster together. The tools and the materials we're going to be using, here I have some brown yarn, I have some white for his nose, pink, those are for under the cheeks, yellow will be for our topper. We have some black yarn, a 7mm crochet hook, stitch marker, 30mm eyes. These are kawaii eyes. These are ones that I have painted. They have a cup safety backing, a pair of scissors, and I wasn't 100% prepared, but here's our tapestry needle. As in all my videos, I always encourage you to pull out an ample amount of yarn. This yarn that I am using is Ogo blanket yarn. I believe it's by Inspirations. The nice thing about this yarn is it never has that yarn barf in the center. It comes out nicely. So after we've pulled out an ample amount of yarn, let's go ahead and place a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to start by a chain of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You'll notice the front side has V's and the back side has these lines. They are also known as humps or bumps. We're going to use that to begin our row. We do not count the first on our hook because it's not completed. We count the completed one here. So we're going to skip this first one, and in the second one place 1 single crochet, add your stitch marker, and in that same stitch 1 more single crochet. When adding 2 to 1 stitch is known as an increase. You will hear that throughout the video. So we're going to place 1 single crochet in the back bumps of the next 5 stitches. The very last stitch is going to get 4 single crochets in it. We're going to use the back hump to place 2, and then we're going to rotate it around and place 2 in the other side. So follow with me. Let's place 2 in that back hump. Okay, turn your work some. You'll notice that our knot is right here, and this is our first stitch. Go ahead and place your hook into that first stitch and draw up a loop. When you draw up the loop, make sure that the yarn is on the left side of our knot right here. When you have it that way, it'll guarantee that you shouldn't have a hole in the center. See, it's all closed up. Now we're going to go down the next 5 stitches and do 1 single crochet per stitch. In our very last stitch, we're going to do an increase. Remember, increases have 2 single crochets in them. Don't hesitate to stretch it. Beginning rows usually have a tendency to curl up on you, and it's okay. And this completes our first row. Moving on, in our next stitch, we're going to have our increase. Remember to mark that first single crochet. Even though I did 2, I want to count back 2, because that first one is the first one of the increase. Our second stitch is an increase. Five single crochets over the next 5 stitches. The next 4 stitches get an increase in each stitch. So we're going to increase this by 4. Here's 1. There's 2. Here's 3. And here's 4. Five single crochets over the next 5 stitches. We have 2 stitches left before our stitch marker, so we're going to do 2 increases. Okay, don't hesitate to stretch it a little bit. And that completes this row. In this row, we will be adding our feet. So our first stitch is an increase. Our second stitch is an increase. Single crochet into the next. Chain 5, 1, 2. I encourage you to pinch that second one, 3, 4, and 5. Into the third chain, we're going to place 5 double crochets. So yarn over, insert the hook into the third chain, draw up a loop, yarn over through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over through another 2 loops on the hook, and that completes 1 double crochet. We're going to do this a total of 5, so let's do 4 more. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Okay, let's see how many I got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's enlarge the loop on our hook. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. This end is the chain. This is our double crochet. We want to go to the right of that and insert it up in between the hook and the top of the stitch and the post. Place the loop back on our hook and tighten it up. and pull that loop through the top of that stitch. Okay, let's make sure it's, yeah, this isn't twisted. There we go. On the chain 2, we're going to go around the outside. So take your hook and go under and draw up a loop, snug it up, and through both loops on the hook. Let's do it one more time. And here we have our first foot done. Now when we come back here to our base, we have our single crochet here. Our next stitch is right here. Let's place a single crochet there. We're going to place a total of 7 single crochets. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Double crochet into the third chain from the hook. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Enlarge the loop, take the hook out, let's stretch this open. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here's our chain. Two single crochets over the chain 2. Okay, we found the last single crochet. The next stitch will go right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue with 1 per stitch till the end, which you will have 16 single crochets. In this row, we're going to be closing the gap between our feet, but we're also going to be adding a tail right here in the back. So our first stitch gets 1 single crochet. Continue with 4 more single crochets for a total of 5 till we get to the foot. Bring your foot forward and look at your stitches. Here you have a hole that you can put your finger through. You can also notice that this is your last single crochet. Here's your next one. That means the first stitch is going to want to go right here. It's easier sometimes to take your hook, aim it down, and just go into that stitch with your hook kind of backwards so that you can pull up a loop and complete that single crochet. We're going to do 7 single crochets across the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And as before, bring the foot forward, find that first single crochet. Here's the last one, here's the first one. Aim your hook down, go through the top portion of that stitch, draw up a loop, and complete the single crochet. This is now single crochet number 1 because we're on the other side of the foot. We're going to do 9 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. It will start to curl up because we're not increasing through here. Chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. On that 10th one, pinch it. Alright, so we're going to come back. We're going to skip 2 stitches and go into the 3rd stitch, doing a slip stitch. So we're going to take the yarn that we brought up and continue to go through. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the same hole, do another slip stitch. Pulled up a loop, pull it through. We're going to do this one more time. 1, 2, 3, and into that same hole, we're going to slip stitch. So we should have like a little 3 loop here on the end. So now going down the chain, let's make sure it's not twisted. Looks like mine twisted up. There we go. We're going to start off with 2 single crochets. So let's do this first to make sure we have it right. We want 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Let's see, did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, so do a single crochet around the body. 2, 3, 1, 2, and then do 1 single crochet. In the second stitch, or the second chain, a single crochet. The next 3 stitches are going to be half double crochet. So yarn over, pull up a loop in that from that next chain. We have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over through all 3 of them. Okay, so yarn over into the second one there. Yarn over, pull through all 3, and then to our third one. See, it made it go from skinny to a little wider. This was our last single crochet into the body, so we're going to start right here. We're going to go 7 single crochets to the end of the row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and this is what we have so far. So this row we're going to close off over our tail. So to begin, we're going to start off with a single crochet, and we're going to continue with 21 single crochets, and that'll stop you right here at the last single crochet before we did our chain. So do 21 and I'll meet you there. So after we did the 21, we want to reach over to the other side, and here's our first single crochet. This is our last one. Here's the chain and the half double crochet and all, but here's the next one. So take your hook and go down, pull up a loop, snug it up, and that'll close the hole for right here. We're going to do 7 single crochets to finish off this row. Continuing on, we will do 3 rows of 28 stitches around. So 3 rows of 28. Please pause your video and I'll meet you there. For this row, we're going to be adding the nose, so we're going to have a color change. So I'm going to encourage you to pull out your white yarn or whatever color you're choosing to place your nose color as. We've completed the 3 rows. Of course, I do mine a little different. I wrap the bottom 1, 2, 3. So, okay, so in our first stitch, 1 single crochet. We're going to be working the arms and the nose on this row. So I'm going to lock that stitch marker in place. So we got 1. Let's add 2 more. Now to make the arms, we're going to do the same thing that we do for the legs. So let's chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We want to come back the 3 and place 5 double crochets in that 1 stitch. I don't know if I have commented on it, but this is known as a popcorn stitch because it has that little puffy look to it. But in our case, it creates like a nice little circle. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 1 more. Okay, we're going to enlarge the loop on our hook. Spread this out. Go into that first stitch. Tighten the loop back on our hook and pull that loop through. On our chain of 2, 2 single crochet. Okay, let's find our last stitch, which is this one right here. So we're going into the next stitch. Now before you jump ahead of me, we're going to be doing 5 single crochets. When we get to the 5th one, I'm going to show you how to change your color. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now on the 5th one, we want to pull up a loop, bring the brown forward. Then get your white, leave a short tail, place a loop across your hook, and pull it through. And that'll complete the single crochet. I'm going to enlarge my white a little bit. We're going to take our brown and go over the 2 white loops, which is the tail and the working yarn. Now, in the next stitch, which is this one right here, because here's our last single crochet, so in the next stitch, we're going to place 4 double crochets as a cluster. So to do that, yarn over, have your white yarn so you can secure it when you're making these stitches. Okay, so we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, and only through 2. Okay, stop, yarn over into the same hole, draw up a loop, yarn over through 2 loops on the hook. So now we have 3. We're going to do this 2 more times, yarn over into that same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2. You see how we're increasing on the size? Well, here's our last one, number 4 through 2. So we should have 5 loops on our hook. So yarn over, aim your hook down. Whoops, hang on, I made a mistake. Bring your yarn forward and then bring the brown, okay, the yarn is going to go through all of those loops. Make your hook aim down, okay, and then take the white and go back over the brown. Pull everything over, and in the next stitch do 1 single crochet. Now if you want, we can do over that white tail as well. Oops. Okay, now we're going to snug it up and push all those stitches forward. Now before we move on, let's take and snip the white from the ball of yarn. Let's add a little square knot. Okay. We did 1 single crochet, so let's do a couple more. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so this is what we have so far. So we're going to add another arm, chain 5, 5 double crochets in the 3rd chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Enlarge your loop, spread your work here into the first of the double crochets, add your loop, tighten it down, and pull it through. 2 single crochet on the chain 2, find the last single crochet, and in the next stitch 1 single crochet. Okay, we have a total of 13 stitches. We did our first, so let's do 12 more, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. Please pause your video. So to begin this row, we're going to do a decrease. And then the next stitch is a single crochet. Let's go back to our decrease stitch and mark it as the beginning of the row. We're going to bring our arms forward and find that next single crochet. Okay, so we have our first single crochet. The next 2 stitches are going to be decreases. Okay, we're going to do 2 single crochet. You notice how we have the white one here. That's our first one. And the next one is the second single crochet. Notice how that went over our nose. Now we're going to have 2 decreases. Here's our first decrease. Here's our second decrease. Okay, we're close to our arm. 1 single crochet. We're going to skip our arm, find that next single crochet, and we're going to do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and a decrease. This is our repeat. 2 single crochet, 1 decrease. We're going to do that 2 more times. In our very last stitch, before our stitch marker, 1 single crochet. So this is what we have at the end of that row. You should have a total of 20 stitches. So for the next 2 rows, we're going to go around twice with 20 stitches. Please pause your video. We're getting closer to the end of crocheting our little kitty. So our next row will be 2 single crochets and a decrease. So here's 1 and 2 and a decrease. Remember, this is our repeat. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and decrease. Continue that around until you get to the end of the row. So before we go on any further, let's enlarge our loop, take our hook out, and we're going to add stuffing to about right here. So let's go ahead and stuff this little kitty pumpkin or potato monster. Looks kind of like a pumpkin because of the color, huh? The reason why you want to stuff it about halfway right now is because once you put the eyes in, you'll have those scratchy things from the back of the eyes, and it kind of hurts a little. So once I got my stuffing in, I want to shape it. So I put my fingers in the center and pull them out to the sides. All right, the next thing we want to do is add our eyes. We're going to come down 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, and make it so that the eyes are close to the nose, but not touching the nose. There we go. And not touching the arm either. Or, you know, you can put them wherever you would like to put them. Okay? Now remember, once we put these cups on it, it's going to pop them in just a little bit. Let's see. Might want to bring them over. Maybe back where I had them at was good enough. Okay, so when you put these cups on the back, you got to press down really hard, and this is where you need the eye, the safety eye jig here. This will help a whole lot on doing this. We might want to bring it up a row. Let's see how that does. You know, you can give it its own personality just by moving things around. But I'm going to go back down to the third row where I was at. Okay, so I'm going to have to stand up when doing this. I'm going to put the cup on there so you can see it coming through. I'm going to use this hole on my safety jig. Oops. Now if I move the camera, I'm sorry. But make sure your kawaii eyes are going in the direction you want them to go. Because once you put this on, it's not coming off. There we go. Pop twice. And let's put our second one on. Okay. And pop twice. 1, 2. Okay. And so here our eyes are on location. Our weather has gone from 80 degrees to 50 degrees. And I've noticed I picked up some sniffles, so I'm sorry about that. But before I stop the camera, you should have 15 stitches around. Do 4 rows of 15 stitches, and then I'll meet you there. At the end of this row, it should have stopped like in the center. If you hold it up and look at it, it should be like right here into the center. But before we do anything else, we need to stuff up to this portion. We want to leave this portion with no stitches in it. I mean, with no stuffing in it. So we want to stuff behind the eyes and what we didn't get down below. So if you want to go ahead and do that, I'm going to stuff mine too. See how it's going to kind of fill out just a little bit. And if you want him to be a nice fat little cat, stuff it as full as you like. But just remember, don't bring any stuffing up to where the ears are going to be formed. Okay, let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's nice and full. All right, so let's place our hook back in. Oops, I hit my camera again. My camera sits right in front of me. So you can take out your stitch marker and count over 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this next one, we're going to bring our hook all the way across. Okay? And then draw up a loop. Tighten it up. We got 1 single crochet, and we're going to go across for our second. Oh, let's see, before we close that one off, we're going to change color, and I believe my color was going to be yellow. So with a little tail, Okay, now we can cut the yarn with about an 8-inch tail of the brown. That'll help keep it out of the way. And then we're going to chain 5. And right here in front, we want to pick up under these stitches here and do a single crochet, chain 5, twist it over, come to the other side, and pick up that stitch and do another single crochet, chain 5. We're giving the loops for the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's 5. Okay, and we're going to come over. Got my brown yarn twisted up now. To the back and do a single crochet and just pull it through. We're going to fix this little glob right here, but in the meanwhile, let's go ahead and put our needle on our yarn, and we're going to be stitching the ears closed and then sculpturing it down. So with keeping all of the different colored stuff up, let's do a running stitch that will allow this to close off. So in, we just want to pick up the upper parts of the stitches. Okay, we want to go back so that we can do the other side. Make sure the yellow stays out of the way. Okay, we want to go back to the center. Okay, and this is where our sculpturing will begin. Make sure that the yellow stays out of the way. So come down 1, 2, 3 rows. Go straight across. Okay, so can you see my needle coming out there? And then we're going to come up to the top here, and then we're going to pull it down. We want to go through the same holes, and this will help tighten it up. We want to go through this 3 times. I guess this yarn just ain't as soft as my other yarn. The other one that I made out of was the frosting yarn, and it is really soft. So we're going to finish this off. And then weave our end in. So coming back here to the yellow, let's go ahead and finish up the look by joining the front to the back with just a little loop stitch. Okay. Bring them close together, tie them in a square knot. And then we're going to bring the yellow inside the body of the kitty. So I put pink on my hook, and I'm going to come up from down here and make those little blush looks under the eyes. So you want to draw it through till you have a short tail. Go over 2 stitches, and then I'm going to cut across. Okay, so there's one pink one. We're going to come across over 2 stitches and then go back out the same hole we came in. Let's tie in a square knot, and then we'll bury our stitches. The last thing we need to do for the face is to place the black nose on. Okay, so let's get the black on our needle and we will continue on. So how I do my kitty nose is I come up and I want to pull out about halfway into the center of the nose. May take a couple of pokes. And have a short tail. We're going to go up. And then we're going to come over here to the side. So this way is going to be coming in at an angle. Go down the same hole that you came up in. And then come over here at an angle. And then come across. And go out the same hole you came in. Sometimes you got to help it so that it all works in together. Let's see, I think that one looks a little too far apart. So let's pull that one out. Yeah, and all the stuffing's going to come with it too. So I'm going to take this over just a little bit. It's always best to try and correct your errors before you move on, because it's kind of hard to redo your work. So let's go down. Okay, that looks more like the kitty cat nose we're looking for. Of course, every time you do something, it's always going to look different. It's never the same, even though you have the same pattern that you're going to follow. Let's bury our tails. Oops. Seems like it doesn't want to go down sometimes. No, don't take me away. Okay, so here we have our little hair up in the center. I like to put a bow up here. Let's see. We could do a white bow, or what color bow could we do? We could do a red bow because there's red in the eyes. So let's put a little bow across the front, because usually kitties are girls. So I'm going to go over these two. And let's tie a knot and add a bow. And then make the little bow loops shorter. Oops. I kind of pulled it so tight I undid it a little. And then let's cut our ends. There we go. It looks like a monster kitty, doesn't it? I hope you enjoyed this crochet tutorial. I had fun making it. You see the difference? This yarn is Bernat Blanket frosting. It's so soft. It's baby yarn. But using the same size hook, look at the difference. This is Ogo yarn, which is a little stiffer, but it's still soft. But look at the difference. Everything was done exactly the same in the pattern, but because this is soft, it was able to form a lot better than this one was, and it didn't matter how far down I would have pulled it. It just would have done its own thing. I guess I could have done less rows, but it's a monster, potato monster. So, I hope you enjoyed this little crochet tutorial of the kitty potato monster. So, come and join me again for another crochet tutorial. Till next time, bye-bye.